Hey guys, welcome to Faith in the Magic, where we see God's fingerprints in every story. And today we are going to be talking about Mulan. And I love the story of Mulan, and we all know her as this heroic figure and someone who saved China and saved the kingdom. But before all of that, she didn't struggle with bravery. We knew all along Mulan was brave, but she did struggle with identity. In the beginning of the movie, did not want to be, dressed up or have the stuff on her face to, go meet the matchmaker to try to find somebody to marry. She didn't want to do any of that. We all saw that she was different. We knew that she needed to do her duty, and her duty was to get married and all these other things. But at the same time, she also knew that that's not what she wanted. There was more for her. And she didn't struggle, like I said, with bravery. She was very brave, noble, honorable to her family, but at the same time, she tried to fit into something that was never for her to fit into. And she was trying to find where she belonged all along. And when the opportunity presented itself to, do something different and go for something, she took it, without hesitation. She took it. And I don't know if many people, in her position probably could have been like, I'm going to do that same thing. A lot of us potentially would have been like, well, I'll go figure out what else to do. I don't know if I'm going to go to war, but I'll figure out something else to do to help my family. Or some of us would have been like, I'll just do what I have to do, sit pretty, drink my tea right, answer the questions right, so that I could get married and find somebody and bring in money for my family. So it's definitely a tough situation to be in, to try to, be what you need to be for your family, be what you need to be for everybody else. But at the same time, with all of that, the question is, who am I? What is my identity? Who am I without, being with my family? Who am I without being connected to my friends? Many of us feel that we have to change who we are to fit in, or for other people to like us, or to be worthy of something. But it comes deep from within, and you identifying who you are for yourself and knowing truly what that means for you and what that looks like. And many of us may try to change things about us for, even a boy to like us, or to fit into a friend group, or to get a position because, we just want to get that position, or even because we see a celebrity and we're like, I want to be just like them. But also at the end of the day, we don't know what that person goes through behind closed doors. So we have to be grateful for how God has molded and crafted and shaped us, because our life could be completely different if we try to compare our life to other people, or we try to fit into a mold of what another person looks like. But everybody's journey is different. God didn't want us to be anybody but ourselves. And that true identity comes truly from deep within and loving yourself. And it's a perfect time to talk about this with the month of February is, love. We all, know Valentine's Day is around the corner, and we try to be like, oh, I want, we say, oh, I want a Valentine's Day. Oh, I want this. But let's start with loving ourselves. And that's okay if you're already like, oh, I love myself, but I still want, that's okay to want those things. But also remember, who are you without needing to have somebody get you candy, or get you roses, or get you your favorite, game or favorite book or whatever. Love yourself, and also know that you can do all those things for yourself. It definitely comes from deep within. And God doesn't want us, to be anybody but ourselves. God sees who we are before anybody else does, or any labels are put on us. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to perform to be chosen. You have to just be yourself. And that is truly what Mulan did throughout the movie. She was just herself. She was nobody else but Mulan. And that is why we love her, is because she was just herself. And being herself, she did something brave. And being herself helped her survive probably one of the toughest seasons of her life. So I encourage you guys to, go back and watch Mulan and really think about, who am I? And, remember that it all comes from within, and also honoring who God has called us to be, just ourselves, nobody else. And I want to leave with you these affirmations, so that you can rehearse them for yourselves throughout this month. God says I am loved. God says I am chosen. God says I am enough. God says I am fearfully and wonderfully made. God says I am seen. God says I am created with purpose. God says I don't have to pretend. God says I can become who he called me to be. And God says my heart matters more than appearances. So I really hope you guys sink into this month of who am I and who does God call me to be and what does God tell me that I am? Who does he say that I am? And I hope that you love on yourself this month really hard. Obviously, love on all of those around you, but first we have to love ourselves before anybody can love us. So enjoy this month. This is a new month, new goals, new vision, and keep your head towards the mark and keep your eye towards the prize. And remember that there is only one you, and be the best version of yourselves every single day that you can be. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.